Hello, everyone. We're live and welcome to the Dream Team and Jasper, of course. And hello, our beautiful Nick. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I just had said to Marie, I've got crazy hair this morning, so forgive me. It's sometimes it just does its own thing, and that's one of those days. So
Yeah, I'm the same. I was just saying to Nick, we had the most beautiful morning here yesterday. So my friend that's staying and I went down to the beach, the doggy beach, and it was beautiful. Even though the water was a little bit cooler, it was just magnificent. Had so much fun. Had so many dogs coming up to us and playing, and yeah, it's funny. I said to another friend once, right, we'll go to the doggy beach, and she said, but we can't go to the doggy beach. We don't have a dog. And I went, yeah, that's why we go to the doggy beach. We share people's dogs and they love it. And so I went, well, really? It was so funny. So that's my favourite beach to go to is the doggy beach. So
that's so true. They're in there free, they're totally free to do whatever they want to do, and then they just bring that joy to you when you call them over or they want to come for a quick hi, and then off they go again.
And it's hilarious. And it's so funny because if I've had Clive on my lap just before I've gone to the beach, they can smell him from a mile away. So I look like a dog magnet because all these dogs come up to me and it's really cute. So yeah, but we've got Lady Hawk on, Marie. Hello, gorgeous ones. How are you? Yeah. So how have you been feeling? What's been going on for everyone? How have you been with your energy and sleeping, all sorts of things like that? So I know after we spent so long in the water yesterday, I was so tired last night. I just slept like a log all the way through. So it was really, really nice. So I think my sleeping's definitely getting better again from last time when we were talking about it. So what about you, Nick?
Yeah, my sleep's much better than it was when we spoke last week about it. I've had a couple of interrupted sleeps, but it's only very short, temporary, and I've actually been able to just get some rest this week, and I think that's probably exactly what my body ordered, and it got. But yeah, still feeling a bit unusual. As I said, I called it the everything, everywhere, all at once sort of week.
Yeah, amazing. Do you want to? Because it was really interesting. It's the first week I've never had dreams sent through to me. So we've got a really free, beautiful session today, guys. So anything you want to put up, just feel free to put up anything. And if you've had a dream or you've just had some synchronicities happening or some weird feelings, let us know. And I'm going to, in a minute, get Nick to talk about what she experienced in the just going into that theta dream state. So Marie's been
off and on low grade temp. Sleep is better mostly. Weird, tense for no reason. Yeah.
Interesting, Marie. Yeah. And Marie, is that like an anxiety that you've been getting, or are you just feeling a little bit on edge? Is it more that than that anxiety? Because I know a few people have had some anxiety stuff coming up again as well, which I know it's always just something to be cleared and it's something to be acknowledged. So yeah, it'd be good to know, how that actually feels for you. So Nick, do you want to, while we're waiting for other people to jump on, do you want to just explain your experience?
Yeah, absolutely. Marie, I understand what you're saying because I've sort of felt I've dipped back in a little bit to the same sort of thing. And, but the difference was I was able to really recognize it immediately and not label it and just let it go and not dig in like I would have once done. So yeah, it's sort of like it's bringing up that last little push for me, and we're all going on our own pace, so all you can do is just send you love and love to yourself as well. There's a lot of self-care and grounding needed right now, so if it's coming up for you, it's probably also a sign it's coming up or will be coming up for a lot of people as well. So you're just ahead of the game. Yeah, so I've had some really different sort of dreams where I've just been experiencing different timelines, and as I call it, everywhere, everything, all at once, just like that movie. And I went to bed the other night, or last night it was actually, and when I went to bed, I was the first one in bed. My partner was in another room with the light on, which I can usually just vaguely see unless we close the door. And then when I went off, I was starting to go into that dream state, I immediately got the vision. I thought, oh no, the light's still on, but he's in bed with me. I thought, oh, he's forgotten to turn the light off. and then immediately jumped into another timeline where the light was off and then he was in bed next to me. And I thought, well, that's 3 variations. What's the actual truth right now? And then I realized it was just me lying in bed and he was still in the other room with the light on. And I thought, that's just showing me all the possibilities that could have been in a nice, soft, subtle way. So I guess it's like the entrance into where we're getting off that linear time frame and showing here that we can have any possibility. Whatever we want to have in our reality, we can create. And then I got this vision, just a fog covering some scene of some sort, but the focus wasn't about the scene, it was about the fog. So the fog is, I suppose, like the veil too. It's lifting and changing, and depending on what I want to see behind there, I get to dictate based on what I'm sending from my heart and what I believe, what my belief system is. So I'm dropping away old beliefs, and that maybe is why I had that dream. Is the old beliefs are set in the past, the present, the past and the future, as opposed to being in the present. So I think it was a little reminder for me that dream was showing me that. And then I woke up this morning, and I don't know what it is about this song, but that song Pure Imagination that Gene Wilder sings in Willy Wonka. And perhaps that was just pushing me a little bit into realizing that whatever we create in our mind is what happens out there in our real world. And that movie is really all about that. So, yeah, we're embarking on something fresh.
And I think I love this because I feel it's really reminding us how to co-create our own reality. And, as a kid, I just had that gift. I could just imagine things. And of course, as a kid, we don't think about money or how much something will cost. And things would actually happen. And sometimes things didn't happen until I was in my 30s. And then I remember, I go, oh my God, I imagined this whole scenario when I was a child. But oftentimes it's divine timing to get to experience it whenever we get to experience it. So I feel we don't daydream enough. I really think that maybe this week we could all start consciously putting aside time to daydream. I mean, at school it's horrific. They stop daydreaming, focus. You're not allowed to do that beautiful imagination play, which is what it is. And for me, the one thing I remember is I always imagined how it would feel to be in that situation or to have the experience of that. And I think that's a really core element of creating, is actually imagining. So, because I remember watching a movie as a kid, and they had this beautiful beach home on the ocean, and I was going, oh, that would be magnificent to experience that. And I remember seeing myself running along the beach and then coming up to the house and what it would feel like, the wood, everything I touched. And that's actually happened to me now 3 times in my adult life, that I've had that place to live right on the beachfront. And like that just is, so I mean, and that was, it all just happened. It was almost so maybe this week we could consciously set aside time to daydream.
It's a great idea, because it's the imagination, and it's also it's the lack of believing in it. That having that faith. The moment you say, "Oh, imagine this," and then straight away you can undo it by saying, "Oh, yeah, but that's not going to happen because of these reasons." And once you start listening to those, exactly. So you've got to really stay strong with that. What it is that you want to create. And I'm the same with you, Marie. I mean, the place that I live in now is completely from my imagination. Yep. The whole lot was, and I just kept focusing on it, knowing in the end, I can 100% convinced myself that this was going to happen. No ifs, buts, maybes, nothing was going to get in the way, but I didn't put a time limit on it. That was something, I guess, that helped the process. Otherwise, once you start putting time limits on things, you start bringing in the negative. You start bringing in the fear thing again. Yeah, so
I mean, it took 30. I mean, we did live near the beach as a child, but it wasn't right. Like there was a road, but like it took 30 years, and I'd forgotten about it. And the other thing I'd forgotten about is because I had eye surgery. I nearly went blind when I was 18, and for years I had to wear glasses and contacts, and I couldn't even find my glasses in the morning because it. And I remember saying to God, I'd love to just be able to wake up and just be able to see and and I actually imagined it and felt it. And I couldn't even have the laser surgery. So I ended up giving the money I'd saved it for to a really beautiful friend of mine that was a bit older. And what happened was they brought in this new technology with because I had some side effects from the surgery which turned into cataracts. And now I and it was so interesting that the day I got my last lens, intraocular lens put in, it's almost like my mind and my body was already ready for this miracle, because I never once went to reach for my glasses and my contact lenses. It's like that had just completely gone from my psyche, which is unheard of. So I knew this was a miracle that I'd asked for, and then went, oh, well, I'll just surrender because I don't know that that's ever going to happen. And it happens. And I didn't even pay for it. It was amazing how it all came out. It was just incredible. So, yeah. So look, imagination is just so cool.
Marie says, I closed my eyes and still see my room. And then the room shifted and I saw another bedroom plain with an old-fashioned white pine bed. Then kept overseeing beautiful, soft mountains I felt I knew, but
didn't know them.
Oh, okay, right.
So that, Marie, that sounds to me like you've actually gone a step further, and you're maybe experiencing a whole other timeline, but maybe it's from another life experience as well. You know, so I'm wondering, I'm going to put the question out there, are we starting to remember, like almost like the Akashic records? Are we just starting to, when we're in these states, these like theta type state, are we remembering something? So it's really, really interesting. So and Marie's also been talking about the clouds.
She says, funny, I was looking at the clouds yesterday, remembering watching clouds as a kid. Took me a bit to pull fun shapes out of them.
Yeah, as kids, that's all we ever used to do, is lie there, because we didn't have, I don't think we had TV till I was about 12, because we were in a tiny isolated country town in Australia, and even all we got was our national ABC radio. That was it, so we used to just lie in the grass and play games and do cloud watching forever. So it's crazy.
I love cloud scrolling. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. And sometimes it's just ridiculous. You'll just have days and days of all sorts of shapes. There's been a lot of angels up in skies lately.
Interesting you say that. So so maybe while we're daydreaming, we can get into that place by doing some cloud watching, because these are things that as kids it's just natural. So many adults now, I mean, what was that movie, Don't Look Up or something? And I think a lot, I mean, I love looking up. That's one of my favorite things to do, but a lot of people just don't ever look up. And especially now with devices, they're like this with their device. So exactly. So interesting, isn't it? So hey Kathy, how you going? So so interesting times. So I think, so for me, I'm actually going to do that. I'm going to put that in my diary so that I remember to actually sit and really just go into that beautiful contemplative meditative state, and then just start daydreaming again. I mean, I do it naturally a lot of the time, but I feel just having that beautiful focused time with no expectations, just doing it for the pure joy of it, as if I'm already there and I'm experiencing everything that I want to experience. So
but that's I feel like that daydreaming to me it's like being awake. It's awake dreaming. So I can not have to be in bed asleep. I can actually, it's like that meditative state and I can do it anywhere. And I can just completely send myself. I guess that's why I love gardening, because it keeps me grounded and allows me that daydreaming time.
Yeah, true.
And it's no one's stopping me from, no one's interrupting or asking, what are you thinking, just because you're sitting there saying nothing. So, it's where we manifest, that's for sure. We can create all sorts of things through our daydreams.
Absolutely. So hi Tanya, my beautiful friend Tanya's on. So it's true. So so who here in the group has actually knows consciously that they've daydreamed something into existence? Let us know. I mean, it can be something small. Even sometimes I know we'd go and do dancing when I was younger. I loved ballroom dancing, so we'd go on a Friday night, and then my friend and I would go and have like a hot chocolate or something afterwards. And one night I was sitting there and I was going, oh, this is the most beautiful hot chocolate. And I'd finished it. I went, I'd love another one. Within 20 seconds, the waiter walks past and go, who ordered a hot chocolate here? And I was like, oh, no, we didn't order one. He said, oh, I can't find who it was that ordered it. And I went, but we'll have it. So we got a free hot chocolate, and it was like within 20 seconds. But so, so this is, to me, when we're in that state of joy, when our heart's open, because I just always felt amazing after doing my dancing classes.
Yeah.
So that, I think, another thing to remember as well, if you're doing it from a need, if you're doing it from a, oh God, I'm so scared because this, I need something to happen. But if you're coming from a pure place of joy, to me, that's where it's really powerful.
Yeah.
So
yeah. But sometimes you can find also that if you've been wishing and wishing and wishing for so long about something, and then you're sort of almost on the verge of going, you know what, I'm not going to give it any more attention. I'm going to go a different path. The moment you go that different path, the universe steps in and goes, all right, you've been patient long enough. Here it is. It's sort of like once you just let go, and that I feel like the universe, that's the lesson we're learning here, is to be, that the word patience brings prickles up on people's backs, when you talk about it. You just have to be patient and whatever. No, it's more like it's got to change their understanding of it, I think. It's not so much that you have to be patient. It's more that you have to let it go and just trust that what will happen is exactly what you ordered. It's on your little menu that you put in before you came down here. So, that's the thing we don't get to see. And maybe through why would we even imagine in the first place what we imagine? Where does that come from?
Good point. That's a really good question. Does that imagination, does it come from our own soul, from our remembering? Does it come from a consciousness? Does it? Yeah, really interesting question. Where does it come from? Yeah. Why do we want to particularly envision that or enjoy that or experience that particular situation? So I think you really hit on something, Nick. It's the surrendering. So once we've done the imagination and we've done the beautiful daydream, you've got to just let go, and just let go, literally. And then just know, absolutely, faith, I think, is a big thing in that as well. But sometimes too, what we're wishing for might not be what our soul actually wants to experience. So it's maybe that's not part of what we've actually agreed to do in contracts or something here. So and
that in itself brings up that thing for me, which is why would you feel that's the case? And is it often I feel that I've already experienced that in other lifetimes or incarnations, and I have a tendency to want to slip back into it because I experienced it, I felt it, I went through it, I learned the lesson, and because of that, there's a comfort in knowing that. So we tend to want to navigate back towards it, but we didn't agree to do that again. And so it's having to let it go and think, that's fun and I can dip in a little bit, but that's not what I'm here for now. It's all tied together.
Completely. I mean, it's interesting because our family have all been very musical, like really talented musically. And so I grew up playing piano and I did some violin and, all the usual clarinet, whatever. But I sort of enjoyed it, but I didn't because I felt I've already done this. It was almost a bit boring for me. And I feel in other lifetimes I've really been focused on music, and this lifetime I was like, I can play piano, but I don't, so what? That's how it felt. And most people would go, but I'd love to be able to play piano, and I'm going, because I could play by ear as well as we learnt how to play as well. So it was fascinating actually. And I really noticed. I went, this is not something my soul craves or yearns to do.
Exactly. And that's like people who, I used to always think about that when I was young and used to watch elite sports people, and they would be amazing at what they did. And then they sort of would be on the rise, and then they would pull out and go, no, I want to go and do something else. And I think, why would you do that when this is what you're good at? And then I think over time I realized because you were already good at it when you came in. You already had that ability to know how to do that. So it was like, that's not where your soul was meant to be going in this incarnation. Yes.
Whereas, there's these beautiful children, especially the ones that are on the spectrum, that they're so talented. It's almost like they're channeling, but I'm wondering also have they had other lifetimes where they've actually mastered that particular talent and now they just channel. So, fascinating.
Yeah, there's going to be some interesting awakenings for those parents and the children themselves being able to step into that, because at the moment they're sort of caught. They feel a bit trapped, I guess, in between the two worlds until they fully release who they are.
Yeah, that's so
Yeah,
true.
and talking about, you know, that imagination, you know, my husband's been for years constantly dreaming. We lived in the city, so we didn't need it. He wanted a work truck, something. And now that we live rural, like, you know, you can't keep a car clean up here because it's always dirt coming in and out, and you know, that's just the nature of it. But he's wanted just a ute truck, you know, where you can put something on the back of a tray and we can maybe go camping in it. And he's been for years just non-stop, and all he does is manifest by just looking and watching and learning and guiding himself towards it. And he did pretty much gave up. He said, you know, there's not one in Australia and you have to order one, and they say it's going to be, you know, 9 to 12 months away to get one. And I thought, okay, we'll just see where it goes, just stay out of this and let him go through this journey. So he went to go down a different path to find another car that would suffice, that, you know, and I knew it was sort of letting go of the fact that he really wanted this particular one. And then once he did that and he started looking at the other ones, once again, the universe steps in, and he just said, out of the blue, I thought, I just got an idea to go in, and instead of having reminders, to look at it online again and do a search to see what will come up. And he's literally found the only car that's being delivered in the next few weeks in Australia. There's none in Australia whatsoever. None are going to come in for at least 9 to 12 months. And when he rang up, he thought, oh, this is a hoax. There's no way. It was available. And he said, and it's exactly how I visualized. And they don't even sell that car now. This is the new model of it. And it's what he wanted exactly, with the colours, the trims and things like that. And he said, I couldn't believe it. I thought it was a promo shot. So just goes to show you, if you might have to wait a while, but he was waiting for that model.
No, you will. I mean, it's true. And I was just then sort of thinking, as you're even saying that, I was going, well, you know, it has been said that we even create our space around us as we go. So are we creating the road as we're driving? Are we creating the crowd of people and the, you know,
Yes.
NPCs where we go out shopping, or to a festival, or, you know, is it like when we focus on something, it's like we're actually even creating it?
That's so true. That's exactly what I thought, Marie, when he told me. And I thought, yeah, you actually created it.
Yeah.
That thing was never there before. You were the one that put it into the system. You, like your little computer game, you built that model and brought it back into your reality. It's great, isn't it? Yeah.
But imagine if it was even to the point where our computers, you and I talking, everyone that, you know, comes in here, imagine if we've created it all with our focus, and then it all goes away until we come back into the scenario again.
Yes, I know. It's mind-boggling, isn't it, when you think about it?
It is. This is how powerful we could be, but maybe at some level we don't believe that we actually have that ability to create to that level. You know, are we creating our own matrix experience with our focus, and because we've normalized, oh, you should have blue sky, you should have, like, you know, trees there, and you should have this and that. It's,
I know. I'm actually going to start thinking about that more. You know, it's so, I actually really feel that as soon as you said that, and that's what I thought when you said, I thought, you created that.
Yeah.
There's no way this is possible without someone creating it. And it's not living it up to somebody else. So I'm going to start practicing that now. I'm going to create something that's not around in my environment and see if it appears.
I remember reading that book. I really loved this book. I'm just trying to think what it was called. I will think of it. But when you focus on something, it's like, I remember once I was going, well, I'm gonna focus and get green butterflies. So, you know, then the next thing, I was watching this movie and these green butterflies flew out. I went, what? And then I looked up and I didn't realize I've got this beautiful candelabra that's metal. I had green butterflies with a crystal that was hanging off it. I didn't even remember I had them. And this was all happening like within minutes of each other. And I just went, right, got it. This works. Yeah. And we have to keep reminding ourselves, I think, of how powerful we are and what amazing creators we are. So, yeah.
And I guess we have to also ask to say, well, you know, look, I need, if I need to continue having the faith in something, can you show me something? Give me some inkling of of an idea or something in my reality that might show me I'm on the right path here, just to keep the thread going. Because I understand everyone's getting a bit exhausted, being the holders and the way showers and whatever you want to call yourself. It's hard being up front sometimes.
Yeah. It really is. And I think that's beautiful as well, is just asking for and almost being grateful for it. Thank you for the signs you leave me, universe, God, whatever you want to call it. As we go through this journey, it really helps me, and I love that, because then I just feel like I'm loved and noticed. And so doing it from that point of gratitude as well, rather than just saying, oh, please leave me a sign. I mean, sure, that works as well, but just coming from a place of gratitude, it's almost you can feel the difference in the energy. So but Marie's had an experience which is really cool.
I was born in New Jersey, moved out west, lived there for 30 years. Universe made me move back. Was a good time spent with family and mum before she passed. 2 years ago, felt the need to move back. Nothing worked. The apartments were triple price, gave up, then finally looked again, and everything fell into place in 3 days. There you go.
Yeah. It
doesn't happen by chance.
It does not. And it's literally sometimes it is what we call timing, but maybe we're not ready for it, even on a vibrational level, or there's other factors that have to come into play from others also doing some creating. We just don't know yet how the jigsaw pieces work and come into place. But it's like, even when I moved to this place, I mean, I knew exactly what I wanted, and I'd visualized it, and I'd seen lots of places, and I nearly wasn't going to even sign up for this place because once something put me off it. And then my friend said, stop being such a snob. And I went, oh, okay. And I applied for it, and I got it, which was really weird because there was so many people looking. But it had everything, and it took me about three or 4 months to realize, because I wanted a fresh water tank just in case. I went, I really like to have. There was one around the side that I hadn't even noticed. It was so nicely put into a spot. I was going, oh my God, like everything I'd asked for down to that was here. I don't know anyone else that's actually got one of those in our neighborhood.
Crazy.
Just, totally crazy. And little things. I think I've talked about this when I moved into that beautiful place I shared with my friend on the beach. I wanted, because I'd come from the mountain with trees, I wanted a tree. I wanted, because I wanted my gnome elemental beings to be there, and I wanted a shower outside, because if we're going to the beach, we'd need to have a shower like before we go inside. And it'd be nice to have everything I asked for was there. And the gnomes, it was so funny. My friend moved in literally 10 minutes after my guys had left. And the first thing that got wheelbarrowed in was a pot plant and all her gnomes. And I was just wetting myself laughing. Thanks, universe. So we've got to take it also with a pinch of salt. It was like, yeah, you've been heard. Here you go. Here's your gnomes and all the garden gnomes.
And I think talking about this now, Marie, and bringing up the occasions where it has actually, your dreams have been fulfilled, is really important. It's showing the gratitude for what you put all that thought and feeling and emotion into, is that it does come to you. So don't just skip over it lightly. Go back into that feeling of what it felt like when it was actually delivered to you. And that's the feeling you need to have before you create the next thing, is that feel like you're immersed in it. And that's what I did with where I live now. I was constantly immersing myself in the feeling of, I'm waking up and this is what I'm experiencing and this is how I'm feeling about it. And then I'm going outside and I'm doing this. And, and of course, that in itself brings that gratitude, because you're feeling into how good it is. And then you're so grateful, you think, oh, this is just perfect. And dreams will tend to do that for you. They don't put limits on you, and they don't certainly put any filters on it. So, setting that intention before you go to bed is a great way of doing it. I want to manifest something in my life. I want to help myself do it by going in and setting a dream about it.
That's a great idea. Maybe we could, again, because this week, for those hi Tony, nice to see you. For those of you that have just come on, we're talking about putting time even aside in your diary so that you actually daydream about what it is you love to experience, what it is you want to enjoy. And to me, I think one of the biggest showstoppers is when people put, oh, but I can't afford it on it. To me, you've got to let go of any money any costing, because some things can come to us in the most miraculous ways. And I always say as well, when I'm doing my daydreaming and experiencing and whatever, and I always leave room for miracles. I love miracles. They're amazing. So it's like you're really opening up to possibilities that I have no control over this at some level. It's just completely open. So I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna pop time every day this week into my diary, even if it's 10 minutes, I don't care, just to fully concentrate and just be in that space. So yeah, so guys, next week I want to hear all about how much fun you've had doing your beautiful creative manifesting, so, and I mean, a lot of people use, I do it as well, pictures and cut out images and all of that, so that
vision
you
boards, yes.
board. So
Yes.
some people write it, so whatever works for you. So, but then surrender with that faith of knowing that miracles happen. So yeah, but Tony's had a dream. Yay, thanks for sharing, Tony.
I had a dream last night. I got this zap of electricity through my body, and I kind of woke up, but still in a dream state, and I was feeling the electricity still. So cool. But what was that? Yes.
Love it. That's brilliant. Yeah. So Tony, first of all, I'm going to ask you, what was your initial thought of what it was? So if I'm going to wait for you to pop something in the comment. We're never wrong. Remember that. Just trust yourself and put in what you think it was, because I've experienced things like this as well, and it's so cool. It's so cool. So yeah, I'm going to wait until you've popped something in there. So and I'm going to pull some cards while you're doing that as well about this, because this is brilliant. This is so cool.
Hi, Trigel.
Hi, Trigel.
Thanks for joining us.
Crew on. I love it.
Exactly.
Lamb's here. All right, so I'm going to pull a couple of cards even before you put anything up there, and I'll just see what comes through for you on that. It's really, really cool. That one wants to come up. Yeah. Beautiful. Okay. Angel Laurie's here as well. Hi, Angel Laurie. Oh, interesting. Okay, this is good. Love it. All right, so Tony, thank you. She's popped up there what she felt it was.
I felt it was sent to me from galactic beings. I kind of felt them. Oh, how beautiful.
That is beautiful. And remember, even our guides can be like what we would call galactic beings. It's an aspect of our higher self, be a galactic being. So what came up for you, which is really interesting, our Queen of Swords. So to me, this is someone that speaks truth, very direct. So what you're saying to me, that's the truth. And then you've got the Three of Wands. So this is looking forward to the future, letting the past go. So I would say that you're being activated to help you to move forward with whatever it is that you are going to experience in life. And then we've got our beautiful knight. This is one of my favorite cards, the Nine of Pentacles. So she's unique. She has her own abundance. Look at the gold that's shining there. That's to me, that's the Christ consciousness as much as it is manifestation and abundance. So your unique abilities, I would say, are being activated with electricity going through you, electromagnetic, which is, again, it's also a part of our Merkaba, part of our whole etheric field. So this is, so don't be surprised even if you might get a few little symptoms as you're releasing. I would be running the violet flame on yourself and through your energy field to help release anything that comes out. It's like when you empty out your cupboard, you've got to throw out some old stuff to put the new in. Exactly that. So keep that energy field clear. And I'd recommend that to everyone, actually. Just remember, just run some white light, beautiful white light from our Gaia, through you, and then run the violet flame. So to do that, for those of you, most of you probably know now, but I just imagine like a beautiful amethyst crystal under my feet. And then if you want, we can do it now. So if you want to, just sit and just have your feet grounded, be relaxed, come into your heart space, and then just imagine, use our beautiful daydreaming qualities, see, sense, or feel this amethyst crystal and the energy that's coming from it, and it turns into this flame, the violet flame that goes through your whole being, just gently moving up through your body, through the physical aspect, through the emotional, the energetic. Sometimes I can hear it crackling when we're actually, it's just releasing and transmuting anything that is not beneficial to us, anything that needs to go, burn it off with that beautiful violet flame. And you just let it pour right through you, all over your head and back down. And it also, I find it rejuvenating as well. So you can do that as often as you like. So just bring yourself back now if you were doing that. So it can be that quick. You can do it in your mind's eye. I do it when I'm driving. I do it, if I know I'm going through a process and a shift and a change, or I've had activations, I just get the hit, violet flame, Marie. Oh, yeah, okay. So, yeah. So that's beautiful. Look, and I remember because when I was, like, I think I've told you all, when I was staying with my beautiful friend Jane in her property up in the mountains, I would get the whole flower of life energy coming through me. It was like, I would just be like in awe. And I've woken up and still had it going through me. So exactly the same thing, Tony. So it really does happen. So, yeah. So that's awesome. It's great. So,
I went through a stage, I think, I don't know when it was, it could have been last year sometime or even earlier, where I knew I was getting some upgrades, and my body just would not stop buzzing. I used to lie in bed and I would just, at first I thought, what is going on? But then, of course, we are, like you said, electromagnetic beings, and, the electricity is the ether, the magnetic part is the draw of it through us, if you think of it that way, a really simplistic way of looking at it. So, but you're right, it has to give you, what it's doing is it's shaking things up in your body, and everything is a frequency base, whether it's sound or color. So it makes sense that we should be starting to feel these changes in our body at some point. And yeah, usually that gets followed by a release of something of some sort soon after. But I find that's where I have to ground again. I have to go out and really, I just sit down on the ground. I put as much as my physical body, bare skin, against anything, a tree or the grass or the dirt. And I'll just lie down, completely lie flat, and just let it sort of ease back into a, it's like if you've ever been zapped by something, electricity wise, it's a bit of a shock at first, but then your body sort of slows down. But some people actually report that when they've been zapped by things, they've been given a gift or a skill, or, some really extreme cases where somebody, to the point where they probably should have died. So yeah, I love the buzzing.
Me too. And it was really interesting actually that you've brought this up, because I had Zane here with her beautiful boys on Saturday. We did a gorgeous healing for each other, and they just had so much fun playing. But one of them came into the room, and Jasper was sitting on my altar, and he said, "Oh yeah, what's his name again?" I said, "Why don't you ask him?" So he stopped for a second, and he went in, and he went, "Jasper," and I went, "Yeah," and I said to him, it wasn't till afterwards, I said to Zan, I said, "Can you ask him how he got that, whether he heard it with," and she said, what he said was he remembered the J, and then his whole body gave him the rest of it. So knowing came, he's very sensitive. The knowing came through his body. She went, "Oh, these children just astound me more and more every day." And it was just so fascinating. So, it's interesting that we can feel things through our etheric and then into the physical. So he had like a clear, was a clear cognizant, but it was also a clear sentience. So he was feeling it and then got the knowing. So it just fascinated me because it just came out of him. And I went, he didn't remember that. I could tell it wasn't a memory thing. This was something else.
And that's where intuition steps in as well, isn't it? That's just where there's no fact that you have to look up in a book. It just comes from within, and that's something to cultivate, or to keep it going, particularly when you're young.
And I think it's great to remember that with kids. Give them these opportunities to play with their intuition, and then ask them, how did you feel that? Did you see that? Did you hear that? Because it's like a training for them to start to really understand how they work on that level, because we're not taught this at school. We're not, we're just not. So
Marie said, I'm still seeing other animals and numbers, but this week in sleep, a beautiful doe comes and lets me pet her. Daytime, new number 144 everywhere. Wow.
Wow.
Isn't that a nice frequency?
That's beautiful. And the fact it was a doe that came in your dream, Marie, I've actually had a meditation, and I was like an American Red Indian female, and I was sitting in this beautiful forest, and I had no clothes on, and I was just sitting, and the next minute these deer would come up to me, and I knew it was truth. I knew I'd experienced that. So it's fascinating that you're getting that doe coming through into your dream. So what does that mean? What do you think that means? Nick, any ideas?
Oh, well, for me, look, if I think of doe, and the very first thing as a child, we get introduced to Bambi, and that soft, gentle openness, pure-hearted, just full of love. There's something about a doe that you just want to embrace, and it's gentle. It settles you down into who you're meant to be.
Perfect, because I just looked it up in our Betty Bethard's dream book, and the deer is a deer, so gentle, innocent aspects of self, often victimized by failure to awaken strengths and inner protection. So that's an interesting aspect. And 144, I knew I needed my little numbers book today, but I can't think where I've put it. So if anyone knows what it adds up to 9, which is a completion of something as well, ready for new beginnings. But it'd be interesting to see if anyone knows what 144 or has an idea of what 144 is. And Marie, if you've looked it up, let me know. That'd be really cool. Yeah, I knew I'd need my little book today.
I see it as a frequency personally, 144, that number in particular. Like it would represent something else, but I do definitely see that. And there's a lot of theories about what 144 represents, but to me, it's a frequency, and
Angel Laurie would know as well. Yeah. The right path. Yeah, perfect. But yeah, of course, because they talk about the 100,000, that's a number that's bandied around a lot, isn't it, by different groups. And so 144 is spiritual. So and Angel Laurie had an experience. I love it.
Last night my intention was to attend a meeting with all my guides, ancestors, galactics, angelics, dragons, etc. I woke up feeling exhausted, didn't even remember it was Sunday, must have had a good time.
Absolutely.
Wow, that would have been a full-on meeting, though. That's probably why.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you obviously were doing it in another realm where you just didn't need to know about it, and you come back. And it's like, sometimes, because I know for a long time I was doing a lot of work during my sleeping hours, and I would wake up exhausted. So I just said in the end, guys, I can't work full-time and have this sort of exhaustion. Please, you got to give me some nights where I get some rest. So occasionally I would have a dream, like a night where I'd wake up going, oh, I feel fabulous today, like not like a semi-trailer's hit me. But I was still doing a lot of work even. So not as much now. Maybe it's easier for us to be able to travel in between realms or leave and come back and not feel the effects, because we're actually expanding and raising our consciousness of our frequency of our bodies. That's probably, I would say, helped a lot with that. So, you must have been really playing up out there, Angel Laurie.
It could feel like overwhelm, actually. Too, it's like sometimes, because, once again, we haven't stepped into our full capacity yet. And while we're doing that, we get given that when we're off into the astral and we're exploring our other universes and multiverses. Therefore, I think if we had to bring all that in now into our physical bodies, we probably wouldn't handle it very well. So it can be best not to remember everything.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and that's interesting. So Angel Laurie does do that.
Yes, Marie. Sometimes I tell them I want to stay in my body and just rest and leave me be. Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. And this is what we can do. They're working with us. They're learning as much as we are, when it's our beautiful angels, guides, whatever, So we have got every right to state what we want if we're feeling overwhelmed or tired. Yeah. So just remember that as well.
We're the ones
not us at all. They're just not. They're just in a different state of being. They're just in a different realm. We're all equal. That's what we have to remember as well.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, we're not trying to put anything on a pedestal. It's just they're there to support us, but they can't experience what we're experiencing in this physical body, in this physicality on this earth plane. So that's why it's important that you're honest about how you're coping with things and how much you can take in, because you can get a whole lot in one hit, but you might regret it.
Exactly.
If you lay
careful
up
what
for
you
weeks
ask
on
for.
end. Yeah.
Be careful.
Exactly.
So yeah, but I'm just getting a hit now that maybe I could do a little reading for someone, because I haven't done one for a while. So if anyone wants to have a reading done, we'll do the 888, because we know that that's manifestation, infinity, and all the beautiful things in life. So if you would love a reading, just put 888 in, and this is obviously only if you're on live. So so we'll give that a few minutes for people to do that as well. And then so it's always nice, isn't it? Because often when I do these little connections in and see where people are at spiritually, it really helps everyone, because we're all so similar. So we're really, really similar. So, and Nick, I'm not going to look. I'm going to let you pick whoever intuitively is coming through and standing out.
Well, for some reason, Tony.
Interesting. Yep. Okay. Beautiful. So let's have a little look at Tony. I love it. So Tony, I'm just going to go in through my higher self, through to your beautiful divine being, your higher self, and just see what's going on for you. Yeah. Okay. This is making sense. Okay. All right. So I'm just going to now just have some cards to help show us in another physical form how to interpret that for you. It makes it easier when we've got something visual sometimes. So, yeah. Okay. It's really interesting. There's quite a bit going on there. Let's have a look and see. Yeah. Perfect. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so the first card that came up for you is the Four of Swords. So this doesn't surprise me, because when I was tuning in, I actually saw these beautiful, like crystal crosses coming through, and it was coming from way above your soul star chakra, and it's coming in through you, and it's like there's layers of it. So there's stuff that's hidden, and I was getting the word lineage again, and I know we've worked with that. But to me, there's something hidden that's going to show itself to you, and it's going to help with your perspective, the way you look at life, the way you tell stories to yourself, how we all tell stories to ourselves. I feel that's going to change, because this is just coming through for you as well. So the next card that came out was beautiful. Four of Wands. So this is about creating a beautiful, safe space to be with family, with loved ones. It's almost like your castle. It's like your castle is being built on a spiritual level, I feel. This is what this is talking about. And then the Three of Pentacles, which is a contract card. So there's some sort of contract that's been made, and I just keep getting lineage, like family. I'm going to just pull another card for clarity on that. So we're not always just doing clearing. There's gifts and talents that can come through the lineage, and I feel this is what's happening for you, especially after your experience with that electricity. So yeah, you're going to be walking away from something that you thought you wanted. It's like you're going to be looking for something new, and because the Eight of Cups is about that. Yeah, something's finished. It's brilliant. Ten of Swords. So you've really finished something fully, Tony, is what I'm getting. And this is like new, and it's really coming from high above. Queen of Wands, I love it. This to me is a card where you've got integrity, you've got intuition. Every action you take now, it's almost like it's done in right action for yourself, and then what's right for you will always be right for those around you when you trust that. So I feel you're going to come into a whole nother aspect of you, and you're just going to know, yep, this is right for me. You're not going to second guess. It's that card is brilliant. That Queen of Wands is a really brilliant card to get. So I feel you're doing a really big spiritual shift. You're getting some gifts and talents coming through from your lineage. And it's interesting because this came through from my sister when she was here a few months ago, and I went, oh yeah, of course we get gifts and talents. It's not always just clearing, and when we're ready for them, that's when they actually come through. So that's what's coming through for me. And the Magician, how beautiful. So this is bringing heaven to earth as much as it is. It can mean illusion, but I feel for you, this is actually having gifts there. You've got all your strategies, all your gifts are on the table for you to use to bring heaven to earth, to create our own heaven on earth. So this is what the Magician is telling me about you. Nick, did you pick anything up during that time?
Well, the first thing I want to say is like why I chose Tony, and because I always feel that to be really honest, I felt the message that was going to come from Tony would actually be for all of us. I saw Tony equals everyone.
Ah, beautiful.
So I sort of think that that message is something we can all relate to right now. And it's so funny because in my book, I picked a card, and I think this is so relevant now, and that's perhaps why it makes sense. I chose a card this morning. One of them was Divine Love. And that's all about Isis and bringing in the love as well. But I just wrote a little note about that meaning, and here it is in my book, just on the top of the page right here. I haven't written it down, and it's Divine Love, and it says, awaken innate healing gifts, heal yourself and others with love.
Yeah.
So,
and I'm glad you said that, because while I remember, not only were these beautiful crystal crosses are coming through, Tony's heart, which means all of our hearts, was opening, and there was gold coming through, and I was going, wow, this is really, the heart is really opening up to a deeper level. So I know, Bob, you've asked for a message, but this message is for all of us. As Nick was just saying, when I do a reading like this, it's always pertinent. So just know that we're all getting this beautiful message and gift. So sorry, Nick, keep going. So what you're talking about with the heart and the
well, I think, some people think, well, is the gift, what is it? I can, do something in the physical world. Yes, of course, we're going to be able to do some of those things. That's what makes us unique. But I think first and foremost is if you go back and you trying to connect yourself more to source and spirit and Christ consciousness, the thing we've got to understand is because we come from source, we all have that same thing, which is that connects us all. And that is this gift of everything comes from the heart. And so it doesn't surprise me that when you talked about that reading for Tony, that I thought, yeah, this is an opening up of our heart so that then we can allow exactly how we were meant to be, what we were, with this incredible, powerful self that we have within us that we're learning how to reignite. And it's so important that we don't try and label it as well. Don't jump in to go, oh, what's it going to be? No, just allow first, because once you open this up, everything's possible.
Yeah.
Everything is possible. Everything. No limits.
It's true. And it's funny because being human, a lot of us work from our solar plexus. So when we're with our children or with people we love or whatever, we give energy from our solar plexus, which is around the belly button area. And what I'm really helping people to start to move to is to come from the heart instead, because our heart has unlimited, absolutely infinite love and energy, whereas the solar plexus, it's often our own energy that comes from there, and we can feel depleted. So I get them to cut cords. You're not cutting off from your kids or your loved ones or anything, but you cut cords and then you bring your attention up into the heart. Sometimes it takes a bit of training because we've got so used to immediately giving from our solar plexus area.
Yes.
So I think that's a really good point, Nick, and it's about coming into your heart as often as you can, bringing your attention and your awareness into your heart space, wherever that is for you, wherever that feels comfortable. It's infinite. It's completely infinite. And this is where we heal from, is through our heart space. So if we have any emotional stored, any physical stuff, it has to come up through the heart to be cleared, is what my understanding is. So the more we focus on that, then, that's just becomes a natural way of being for us. So, yeah.
And I'm getting very strong messages. I just keep saying, keep focusing on that heart, keep focusing on opening up that heart, because nothing else will matter. If you want to fast track it, open up your heart.
I love it. It's so true. So how do people do that? I'd love to know, how do people do it for themselves? I mean, I know that if I'm specifically wanting to open up my heart space, I have a little procedure I do So I just I can either imagine myself sitting in front of me, and I just touch where the heart space is etherically, twist it open, and then I release pain. And sometimes I put a beautiful emerald green ray of light through into the heart space. So that's my way of doing it. Or I simply have an intention and I just drop into it, and I just go into the heart space. So that's my way of doing it. So yeah, Nick, how do you do it?
Yeah, very similar ways, Marie, very similar. And one thing I've sort of been liking to do is I pretend that there's a huge golden light sitting here that is connecting with all the golden light that's out there at the moment. But it's not until I point my beam at it, like I have to literally open it, and it's like a big laser beam, and
Yeah.
And whatever I'm focusing on, I'm sending it my love. But by doing that, this gets bigger and stronger.
Yeah.
That's how it feeds it. So I play little different scenarios.
Yeah,
just play games. People know innately what happens for anyone. How can I open up my heart? Ask yourself.
Yeah, ask yourself, exactly. Ask your own higher self. Ask your wisdom. What's going to work for me at the moment? What is it that's going to make it easiest for me to start retraining myself to really be coming through into that space? And yeah, for sure, it's and honestly, it just takes consciousness. And sometimes I find now, because you can have such deep emotion, that it's such a whole different vibration of emotion and compassion that comes through. You might find yourself just tearing up, or feeling something more or differently to how you have before. So
and there could be a little sign that come in. Yesterday when I was in the garden, I had a sun hat on, and on the edge of a sun hat came a little bee, and he was buzzing around me. He wanted to land on me, and I said, "What are you doing, fella?"
Yes.
And he landed right there on my hat, which was almost on my third eye, because it was just down a bit. And I'm sitting there looking at him, and I thought, "You're not going anywhere, are you?" And in the end, I had to actually, because I was going inside, he was there for ages, and I had to get a leaf, and he hopped on the leaf, and I put him on one of the plants near the flowers. And it was like, during that whole time, my heart was so open.
Yeah.
Because I felt so privileged and so grateful that I could drop away all my thinking and all the nonsense that my head gets filled with, and just be in that total space of love that a bee wanted to come and join me in the garden.
It's beautiful. Just be. And
just be, yes.
And I've had that. I've had one land on my heart after I'd done a healing for someone. I was just sitting outside having a beautiful cup of tea. So and it's the light worker from my Animal Magic cards. The bee is the light worker. And this bee just came and sat on my heart. It was just amazing. I went, hello. And I've had bees following me. People have gone, Marie, there's a bee following you. I'm going, yeah, I know. But it's such an honor. It's beautiful. Yeah. And thank you, Marie, for sharing.
I think about my heart space and have a clear quartz crystal tower close to my heart and focus on opening myself.
Beautiful.
That works.
Yeah. So it's like a little trigger, like even having some sort of crystal or something you hold or you see, that can actually, really help us to focus as well. So that's beautiful. Thank you. But so yeah, Jazzy wants to say something, that I'm going to go because I've got my beautiful friend here. So I want to go and play with her. So have fun. But so I'm just going to tune into Jasper and just see if there's anything that he wants to share with us for over the next week or so, just for ourselves. So, okay, Jasper. So he's showing me like the clouds have formed into like a vortex. And he said, just jump. He said, have fun and play. So it was like you get thrown down into this vortex and you come out. It's like you go in and out of a tunnel and come out the other end, but have fun with it, play with it. So I think, I think that's been the theme for today. It's with our daydreaming. It's with our with everything we do, come from a space of the heart with joy. That's what he's saying with everything that goes on, whether we're going through a shift, find the fun in it. Even if you've got a little bit of anxiety, just find the fun somewhere in it all. Yeah. So which can be a challenge, but so that's Jasper's little word for this week. So, but I'm going to go, and thank you so much, Nick, as always, for being with us, and for everyone here. You are so, so loved and such a beautiful family. So, yeah.
Love to everybody. And yes, imagination,
Yes.
and have some fun with it as well.
Yeah,
It's
and we'll
really
talk about that next week and see what we can create, even if it's something tiny in a day and you go, oh, I was thinking about that yesterday and now look at it. Doo-doo. So yeah, have fun and
lots
see
of
you
love,
next week.
everyone. Bye. Bye.